Ready?
We are good.
If you've been told there's nothing you can do, just live with it, or it's only going to get worse, well, this episode is for you. Today, we're going to be discussing what gives healthcare providers hope when it comes to neuropathy. Welcome back to the Healing Wellness Show. I'm Dr. Kareem. Joining me is Mark with questions from the listeners who want to know what's changing in the world of neuropathy. Mark, welcome back. We always like to have you on the show here.
Oh no, definitely love it. We're tackling. Well, you're mostly tackling. I get asked a few questions about neuropathy and what type of changes and how we're getting not just opinions but from real life stories and how you are helping and transforming people's life in neuropathy. And I'm pretty excited about today.
Yeah, me as well. So what you got for us, Mark?
Well, you know what? Neuropathy is one of those things, like I was saying in the last episode, my father has neuropathy. And I think that, today that this topic matters so much, especially, in this, you know, series. And what really excites me the most is about the future of neuropathy. Where are we going? How are we able to get the numbers not just going up, but going down? As we see, they're going up and up every year with more people in more pain, more people on meds. And then when they're taking their meds, the last resort person they normally call is somebody like you, which is not good, but which is great because most of the time you're able to help them depending on how far they are. So let's talk about this neuropathy, and let's talk about the future of it. Where do you see it going right now with neuropathy?
I feel like more people are starting to understand more of like nerve health, where before it's like, oh, if the nerve is dying or you're having these symptoms and there's nothing we can do is what they're told all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But really, these holistic clinics or health and wellness clinics are coming out that are teaching people like, no, a nerve is a cell, just like your brain. You've got brain cells, heart cells, skin cells. Well, there's simple cells and there's complex cells, is how I like to explain it. And simple cells are going to be like your skin, right? You cut your skin, it takes about a week to 2 weeks to fully heal. Well, what if you damage a brain cell? Well, that could take a few months to a few years. You might have to do a little bit more extra things like speech therapy or learn how to walk again, or or same thing with heart cells. Those are complex cells. Like if you have a heart attack, well, you might need some rehab. You might need some PT. You might it might take you a few months or a few years. That's the same thing with nerve health. And nerves are complex cells. It always comes down to I call it my secret recipe, which is, hey, we need to address the nerve. When you get that nerve to fire back up again, we need to get circulation, so a process called angiogenesis, and we need to decrease inflammation in the body, decrease inflammation around that nerve. So that's how that nervous system starts to function again.
Let's go a little bit deeper, if you don't mind. Is like what type of role does lifestyle medicine play in this quarter where we're at right now? We know that neuropathy levels, like we talked about, are really high, and a lot of people have given up. They're taking Ozempic, they're taking all these different pills to the point where they're really not getting better, and they've been told that they're not going to get better, that they can only just maintain. What are the type of lifestyle medicine, like what role does lifestyle medicine play in your clinic?
So, I mean, it plays a massive role, right? The future isn't just technology, it's understanding the person as a whole. So, someone that comes in, that's why we address them as a whole, because, you know, each person might have different conditions. So, we got to also see what conditions they've got, what medications they're on, because some meds are causing more nerve damage. So, if we're able to get them off of these meds as they're getting better, then that's going to be a plus in our book. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's going to be different. Some people don't take any medication, so they might be a little bit easier to manage compared to someone that's taken 20 plus medications. So these are all things that we need to address as a whole to try and give them a better lifestyle.
What would you say that gives you hope with what you are doing right now? And there's a lot of people that they don't have hope. They don't have that word in their lifestyle. They're in so much pain and they've heard do this and do that. But what gives you hope about with what they're going through. That maybe some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the patients that improve, and it's the patients that improve because they finally understand what's causing these symptoms. So once they go, oh, okay, I get that, X, Y, and Z medication might be causing that. Well, I'm a I can wean off of that right away, but this one we need to wait on until we start to feel better. Or hey, it's what you've been eating that's been crappy, that's been causing inflammation in your body. And hey, if we take that out and we clean our diet and clean our gut flora, then things are going to start to feel better. And when they start to realize that and start to experience it, is where they get it and they
I
have
love
better.
that. Just to kind of maybe expound on that. I mean, what kind of message would you give someone that's feeling discouraged, that's been to every single doctor that for them, 5 to 10 doctors, and now they're stuck on a doctor where they're even talking about surgery there because maybe the meds aren't working. How would you help somebody that's just feeling so discouraged right now? Because when they hear the word doctor, they think that they're all the same.
Yeah, I mean, I get these patients in my clinic all the time. They come in the room, they're like this, short answers. And that's where, I'll have to have that one on one conversation with them and just open conversation of, hey, if they're all closed up and just give me short answers, I tell them, hey, we can stop here. You're the one that's here, still trying to seek options. If you don't want to be here, that's totally fine. But if you want to learn, I'll teach you. And after we're done, then, you can make your own decision. And that's where we have that heart to heart conversation. But I mean, I try to get much information and what kind of lifestyle they're in right now, so that gives me a better understanding of, well, are they active, are they not, do are they able to walk, how far can they walk, are they able to do things for themselves or not, or are they dependent on someone now because they're in so much pain. So it's really the people that never stop searching for answers. It's never stop like advocating for themselves. Or it's the opposite where their loved ones are the ones that are seeking the answers and trying to show them that, hey, there's still some hope. Don't give up. And that's where we have that conversation of, hey, if they're still stubborn, like, hey, your loved one is here, they still want to make memories with you, they still want to do things with you. And that's why they're seeking this. So do you want to help them with that, or are you done? Because if you are, you need to let them know. So we just have to have that open conversation and never assume that your story is finished, because there is hope if you are willing to work for it, if you are willing to seek what's out there. I mean, I remember a patient who arrived convinced that there's nothing that could be done for him. Again, the medical doctors told him, hey, you got to live with it. There's nothing we can do. And he's heard that multiple times from multiple providers. So that's what was stuck in their head is, hey, I was told there's nothing we can do. So I'm going to, assume there's nothing we can do. But, there's a small percent in there where they're like, well, what if there is? And that's why they're still seeking. Or when they see something, they're like, well, maybe I should go look and see if that's going to give me, even if it just gives them relief for a day or for a few hours, they're still seeking, right? But that bigger picture of, hey, there's nothing we can do is still in their head because they've been hearing that for years. So months later, after starting the program with me, that person comes in and tells me, hey, doc, for the first time in years, I feel hopeful. And I go, okay, why, you're feeling hopeful now? And they go, for the first time, I was able to sleep for at least 4 hours. And I go, 4 hours? Well, that's awesome. And it's because they could only sleep for, an hour or two at a time before they had to get up to walk to relieve the pressure, the symptoms. So, he goes, so that was like a huge accomplishment of, hey, I could sleep for 4 hours. I haven't done that in years. So that's that hope that, there's change, there's something different. So now I'm hopeful.
It's so interesting. I Neuropathy is really close to my heart. Like I was telling you, my father has it, and I'm not here to spill the beans on him, but he's given up because he's listened to the doctors and what he's been told. And but I'm starting to see that he's not giving up. He said to me the other day, this is him, not me. He said, all they're doing is giving me another pill of another pill of another pill. It's always another pill, and I don't get better. It's like a patch. And this is what he said, not you. He said, there's a scam. That's all he could say. He goes, I can't figure it out. Something's not right. He goes, every time I'm getting sold a new pill. He goes, what are they? Are they making money off these pills? This is just him talking. And I'm like, it's cool because I'm his son and he knows I talk a lot and have a lot of friends like yourself that are doctors and neuropathy doctors. And I said, well, because I learned from you big time. I go, well, Dad, number one, you've got to be willing and don't quit. You're still breathing, and I know that you have a lot of people that come in with these type of stories, and it's sad that people are listening to somebody else. You can't let somebody else determine who and what you are and say you're not going to get better. If you tell your computer system, your brain, you're not going to get better, you're not going to get better. And I notice that when you talk with the people and they come in negative, you're always with that positive. How would let's talk about that. How important before people come to you is their mindset with you? Like, I know that you see some probably destroyed mindsets, and it's almost like, you tell me if I'm wrong, you got to build up their mindset before we can even move forward. Let's talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you're, like I said, if your mindset is, negative or closed off or anything like that, just even if you wanted to try something, you're not gonna see the results like someone that is more positive, right? Because you're always gonna be like, I'm not seeing any changes. And the changes that you see aren't going to be drastic. They're going to be small changes over time. Because again, nerve cells are complex cells, so they're going to take time for them to heal. Some people it might be a few years. So, or some people it might be just continuous, where that's what they need to do to maintain it, right? Because some people might plateau somewhere. So it's again trying to explain it and changing that mindset of that negativity, or that, oh, there's nothing out there, or I'm done, or I'm gonna die in the next couple years. Because I'll get people that go, well, why would I do this if I'm gonna die in the next 5 years? Well, if you're in the mindset that you're gonna die in the next 5 years, then you probably will die in the next 5 years, because you're gonna give up, right? You're gonna be sedentary, you're probably gonna not do much anymore, and you're just gonna have things take over, compared to someone that does have hope and does want to live longer, because maybe, hey, I want to still see my grandkids or do things with my grandkids or my kids, or so if you have something that you're looking forward to or looking forward to do, then you're probably going to have a better chance of healing the nerve compared to someone that is negative.
I really like that. It's interesting. I'm a big Zig Ziglar fan, and he's an old school guy, and he always says, you got to get rid of the stinking thinking, and that's half of that. And what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of ailments come from the mindset, whether they're holding on to trauma they've been through, whatever type of pain, it will start to affect the body. But with neuropathy, I know that's more of a progressive beast, and once you say, I'm going to get better, things will start to change. Because see, everything, what a lot of people don't understand is that neuropathy has to have some type of blood flow. But the number one thing that I see, especially with my dad, so I use my dad a lot, is the eating. It's that damn sugar. Excuse my language. That sugar doesn't, he's got like a kung fu grip on it and does not want to give it up. It's literally like a drug. What I'd like to talk to you about, Dr. Karim, is let's talk about a testimonial. I mean, this testimonial will probably be a little bit different. So I'm gonna kind of throw something out there. When you started getting into neuropathy, is there a patient in your mind or that you remember of somebody that maybe like the first person you were to help where they were like at a 10 in pain and we got them down to like a 3 or a 4, and you're like, you know what, I got to do this. I'm starting to understand the logistics of this beast.
You're talking about when I first started neuropathy program?
Yeah, when you first started, like just something, because there's always a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because you see a lot of neuropathy patients and you help a lot of people out where you're getting them out of that pain, where they were in pain and told, just keep taking this pill and this pill. And now all of a sudden you started working with one of these people. I don't know their name, or something that sticks out of when you helped your first person in neuropathy. You're like, I'm doing this. I love this.
So you're talking my first ever patient
Yeah, or
because
first ever, or one that just really said where just the lights clicked on
okay,
for you.
because I
I
think
can
I
help
told
these
you about
people.
my first ever patient, which is my mom, right?
Okay.
So, the reason why I got into neuropathy was because of my mom. She had really bad fibromyalgia. If you don't know what fibromyalgia is, it's basically pain that could be all over the body. And when you get this episode, it could last for days. And for her, when she would get her bad episodes, it would last her about, 5 to 7 days where she's bed bound, she can't move, she can't do much, she's just in excruciating pain. So that is where I was like, well, what is out there for this? And that's where I found a group of doctors down in Dallas, Texas that specialize in neuropathy. And I started to fly down there on a monthly basis until I finished the course. And that's where I got board certified in neuropathy and chronic intractable pain. So I came back and, I started treating my mom, my first patient. So I started treating her, and yeah, her episodes now instead of 5 to 7 days were down to 1 to 3 days. So I was like, all right, that's great, but she still had them, right? So 1 to 3 days compared to 5 to 7 days is huge accomplishment. So I was like, well, I need to see, is there something else that we can do to help with this? And that's where I found a different doc and I started to study with him and again started flying down on a monthly basis until I got board certified in functional neurology, which is basically tracing the nerves from the brain all the way down to your extremities, your fingertips and your toes. And that's came back, started treating my mom, and she's been symptom free now for the last 8 years, 7, 8 years. So
How do you get to symptom free? I mean, like that doesn't make like you can. She's literally symptom free.
yeah, no more fibromyalgia episodes. So she's living her life. She's living best life. She's just maintaining it now. She went through it. She put the hard work into it, and now she's seeing the difference in living life. More naturally, better, eating healthier, and that's all because of what I've learned and relayed that message to her and drilled it into her and saying this is what you need to do. Once you start feeling better, it doesn't mean you stop. It means you continue because you need to maintain it.
I I love it. So everyone out there, I just want to let you guys know. I want you to think about this. Dr. Mo had his mother who was in so much pain with fibromyalgia, and his focus was, I need to get her better. You basically have someone that is going to focus on making sure to do everything they can to get you out of pain. This is huge. Fibromyalgia is not light. A lot of people with diabetes have it. Would you say is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, diabetes is one. So a third of neuropathy out there is coming from diabetics, right? So diabetes type 2 is going to cause eventually nerve damage. It is known. So a third of it is known to be from diabetes. A third of it is unknown. And a third of it is known conditions like restless syndrome, fibromyalgia, chemo-induced neuropathy. So these are all known things that are under neuropathy category.
Wow. And if you don't mind me asking, I just want to throw a little bit deeper in this. After you started helping your mother and she started getting better, what was like, how's your guys, how was the conversation like? Like, was she like, honey, like, thank you so much? Like, I mean, how was that conversation like when she started to get better? Well, she was told by the big box doctors, that's what I call them, that you're going to have to live with it. You'll have some good days and some bad days.
I mean, she was obviously really grateful because now instead of spending, think about, having episodes like what I was telling you, 5 to 7 days, and that could be multiple times a month or it could be one time a month. So you do the math and add that up. And that is, sometimes it could be half a year where you're having the, feeling that way. So now that you've gained that back, now you're able to do more. Now you're able to be with your family more instead of saying, hey, I can't go to this function because of my episode, right? Can you imagine, hey, I can't go to your birthday or the vacation that we planned or the sport or your grandkids event because of my condition or my episode. But now you are able to do these things and not have that as an excuse anymore. That's what it is getting that those memories created again, getting that time back.
Wow. When your mom was struggling with that, was she struggling also with some neuropathy issues?
Yeah, I mean that is definitely neuropathy. I mean fibromyalgia is a type of neuropathy, so that was definitely neuropathy. I mean all these, burning sensation, tingling, pain. She had it all.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, before we go to the next question, I know we're supposed to kind of talk more about research and advancing, but I like to kind of just kind of go off the cuff here on with this. With there's so many people that are quitting, like we said, and a lot of the people are coming to you as the last resort. What would you say the first thing that they should be working on now? Something that you can give to them that's strong before they call you, that they can start working on, whether it be their mindset or whether it be, I'm going to start changing right away with what I'm putting in this body here.
I would say diet is number one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean definitely it's the diet. It's, think about what our food is like now compared to, like 30 years ago, or 40 years ago, or so our foods now are living on the shelf a lot longer because of all the chemicals, preservatives, all the junk that they're putting in. So it's more of, hey, let's try and eat like our ancestors used to eat, which is, hey, more natural. The American diet is more of high carbs and high fats. It's low protein. Every single patient I talk to, they're not eating enough protein. But you need more protein, less carbs, less fats. And the fats, I mean, you need to be eating the good fats and not the junk fats, right? So it's really looking at that. That's going to be your number one, because that's the number one cause of disease. Is, from my opinion, is what you're putting in your body is what you're going to get out. So if you're putting crap in, you're going to get crap, and that's the disease. If you're putting good stuff in, then it's going to clean, and you're going to feel good. And that's really type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, you're the one that created that by putting whatever in. And that's why we reverse a lot of type 2 diabetes in our clinic, or change, their numbers, because of number one thing that we look at, which is your gut health. So changing your diet and changing the gut flora. That's how we reverse a lot of these, or some of the autoimmune diseases, or thyroid problems, or gut related problems like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, or some conditions like ADD, ADHD. It's really having people realize that what is it that you're putting in that might be causing that.
Wow. Would you say that we're advancing leaps and bounds right now in neuropathy, or would in for research, or would you say that it's just kind of staying stagnant? What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I think if you're talking about more holistically and more natural forms, or more regenerative medicine form, then yes.
Like, is neuropathy research? Would you say it's really advancing right now?
I would say yes. I'd say they are advancing. I would say not really in the hospital setting, because a lot of what's working isn't really covered by insurance much. And that's why they're given medicine instead. But I would say yes. If you're looking for alternatives to medicine, then yes, there are a lot of advancements.
Yes, it's so interesting how our technology and things like that you're using, because you're using a lot of, beautiful technology that's actually helping people, healing people. But what I love about what you do is, even though we've got all these technologies and they're better than and they're helping and healing people. You said something in the beginning, I really focus on each person, on the whole body. And that is huge, because a lot of people will go to the big box doctor, and they'll see them for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes most tops. And you're spending what, probably anywhere, I'm guessing an hour and a half just with that person, because you're checking off everything, making sure, what can we do around, when did this start, what are the trigger areas of, maybe possibly it's the foods that you're eating, or how did this whole thing start. A lot of people don't do that and go thorough. I just think that a lot of people need, when they're listening to this episode, to realize that all doctors aren't equal. It's kind of like shoes. All shoes aren't equal. You've got quality and you've got someone that focuses on neuropathy. I mean, you focus a lot on neuropathy. I mean, it's. I think I saw you the other day. You woke up with a neuropathy book. I'm just playing, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because we want to. We're the next thing we were going to start to talk about. Is there a reason to be to be optimistic? What would you say about that, Doctor Krim?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, absolutely. If you're
You
optimistic,
know,
that's where things are gonna change for you. So yeah, I mean, you gotta be optimistic. Otherwise,
bottom line, don't give up. I
yeah,
mean, if you're breathing, it's so funny. I'm a big Rocky fan, and I remember this is when Sylvester Stallone lost everything. He's in the bar. He's having a drink with Paulie, his family member, and this young guy comes in there and just basically knocks him out. So I want you guys, viewers, to think about this. You feel like you've been knocked out, but what's interesting, and I'm using that as an analogy, when Sylvester Stallone was on the ground and the guy just walked away, I loved what he said. He goes, "I didn't hear no bell," meaning he's not giving up. You guys out there, don't give up. There's no bell. If you have a pulse, if you're breathing, now I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, I can't afford it. You always have that one family member. I don't have the money. Yeah, but you have the money when something big happens in your life. You're willing to help out that family member. Let me tell you something. You deserve it. You deserve it, people. But you only got 5 years to live. Well, guess what? Make that 5 years count and stop ripping off your family members. I know my dad's one of them. The only time I can get him out of neuropathy is when I take him to the casino. All of a sudden he can't live. He's playing some Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm not joking. It's the most hilarious thing. So I'm telling you, people, it shouldn't matter the cost. And no, he's not crazy expensive. I'll tell you what crazy expensive is when somebody gets a knife and they start cutting you up. They cut my dad's pinky toe off. It could have been the whole leg. You don't need to get cut off. But insurance covers it. Of course, insurance covers it. It's interesting how insurance will say, well, it's a $50,000 to amputate the leg, but we're not going to get to the root. Dr. Krim gets to the root. Don't play games with your life. You matter. And like I said, I didn't hear no bell. Anyways, that's all I got. I had to throw that out there.
yeah. I mean, just like you said, I mean, you're dead. I mean, you only have one health. I mean, it's not. I always give the car analogy, right? If your car stops on the side of the road, right, and doesn't work anymore, you're gonna go get another one so you can keep going where you need to go, right? We're not talking about
You know,
replacing
you,
a car or a
that's a great,
roof
great analogy.
or remodel a kitchen or no, we're talking about your health, which you only have one. You can't replace that, so you got to work on it in order to live your life better. And yeah, like you said, 5 years. If you have 5 years, if you think you have 5 years, well, don't you want to live that better, where your symptoms are better or you're not in pain instead of suffering? So yeah, it's just like you said, Mark, and your dad. I mean, I hope he. We've been talking about this, me and Mark, behind the scenes about, hey, bring your dad down here. Let's see what we can do for him. But he
We're
has to
still
have
we're
the
still working on
mindset.
this.
He has to have the mindset in order to do that. You can't force anyone to come in and do it.
Slowly getting there. But you mentioned something, Dr. Krim, about the car analogy. And it's funny, my dad always tells me this, but he uses this in marriage, which is so interesting, but we can use this in all everyday life. When your car breaks down, you don't just walk away, just go buy a new one. You fix the one that you have. Your body is like a car. And what's cool about cars, sometimes you just need to change out the battery and you'll start seeing that the function in your body will start to work. You guys got to understand that the reason why you have pain is a couple things. With just to recap on what Dr. Kurim said: diet, stinking thinking, what you're thinking, what you've been told, lies, what you're seeing on Google, what you're seeing on AI, whatever they tell you, that's the doctor. Well, you're here to see that with Dr. Karim, he can help reverse these and have you live a better life. If you're struggling with inflammation, the reason why you're struggling with inflammation is because, let's say this is the inflammation in here. There's no blood flow. Blood's supposed to move like, look, your blood right now is moving like this because of inflammation. When Dr. Karim starts working with you, guess what happens? That blood flow starts to move like the Nile River. When it's moving like the Nile River, that means you're getting out of pain. Your body's healing. Your body was created to heal, people. Do not believe the lies. Sorry, I get a little passionate about this. Do not believe the lies. Let me explain. Dr. Karim got into this because his mother was struggling with this. You want somebody who's going to treat you just like he treated his mother. And that's what you're going to get. Yes, he's got a heartbeat. A lot of doctors these days, the reason why you're probably saying, Mark, you're just saying this. Yeah, okay, well, no, I'm not, because let me explain. When you are a big box doctor, and I can say this because I'm not a doctor, you sign a contract and they're doing what they're told. They're not bad people. They're doing what they're told. Take a pill to take a pill to take a pill to death. I'm sorry. I got a little. You go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. When someone comes to see me, I'm not spending 10 or 15 minutes with them. If you calculate the total amount of time, because it's usually over 2 to 3 days that I'm doing my testing, evaluating, and then going over the results. And total, I mean, we calculated it. I think total time spent with the patient, and that's just going over things is about 3 to 4 hours in total. So
Well,
yeah,
I'd like to
we,
talk
we
one more
I mean
thing. I know
my
this is,
testing alone takes about an hour and a half to do. That's how long the test takes.
that's a lot.
Yeah. So it's a lot of
And
testing
why does it take that long though? I mean, like, is
because
there a
again,
reason for it?
yeah, I'm testing everything in the body, right? I'm testing all the nerves. So testing the brain, the spinal cord, the peripheral nerves. So it's everything in the body. The brain is the hub, and the spinal cord is basically the highway to all your nerves, and then the nerves are the pathways to everything in your body. So we have to test everything. We have to see, like, someone comes in for balance problems. Well, there is a disconnect to the brain. The brain is not recognizing the feet anymore, and that's why you're having balance. So you're starting to tip. Well, the brain should tell the foot, "Hey, you're tipping to the left, to your left. Well, move to the right so you don't fall over." Well, they're not getting that quick enough, and that's why they're tripping or falling, or So we need to figure out where's these disconnects and how to get the brain to recognize these pathways again. Again, it's going back to that same analogy of, hey, if you know how to go to the store one way or to your job one way, and all of a sudden there's an accident where you're stuck, right? You can't move, and that's what the brain is doing, is it's getting stuck. So we need to show the brain, nope, we're going to reroute you this way in order to get to your destination. So these are all things that we look at. And again, like I said, we're not just looking at nerves, we're looking at everything else. I mean, because neuropathy, a lot of times, it's not just one thing that's causing it. It could be, hey, a compression on the low back that you've had for years. Well, that's going to decrease that nerve flow. So it's going to, over time, cause more nerve damage. So we might have to address the low back issue, or a medication issue, or the food issue, or so there's lots of different things that we might have to address.
This is really good. I really like how you explained about the time that you meet with people because you're digging into the history of the body.
Yep.
Like I said, a lot of doctors spend 10, 15 minutes and say, hey, take some Ozempic. That'll be a good blocker for a while. I'd like to maybe kind of throw this in there. I know it's a little bit, me, I like to kind of go off. Let's talk about, before we end this, because we have many more episodes to be talking on this. And the reason why we're doing this, people, is because there's a lot of people that are struggling with neuropathy. Maybe give us a good story of someone they were using so many pills, and then all of a sudden, one by one, they weren't using them after a while because they started getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I get these all the time. I mean, I'll have people on heart medications and on diabetic medications, and it could be also on thyroid medication and on statins for cholesterol, and pills for anxiety and depression, and insomnia, so because they can't sleep, and pain meds, and that's a patient right there that's coming in with multiple pills, and they're on 20 plus pills. So
Yes.
again, it's looking at all that and going, okay, well, a lot of these are gut related problems. So let me work on the gut and see which ones we can get rid of. And then we'll concentrate on the select few that are left. Because the heart condition, the anxiety, the depression, the thyroid sometimes, the diabetes for sure, those are all gut related problems. 80% of diseases come from the gut.
Wow, this was good. I'm lost for words. I mean, that's huge. I mean, think about it. How many of you right now are struggling taking all these pills? I know that I see my dad's pill box. It looks like a toolbox. Literally, guys. He's got the little, you guys know about the patch. You know about that little needle. Stick it in there. You don't have to be doing that anymore. Number one, I want you guys to do this. I want you to think of one person that means the world to you that's alive. Now think about not you not being there in their lives and how you're going to make them feel. That's huge. On your deathbed, guys, all of us, this is for all of us. None of us are getting out here alive. On your deathbed, it's not going to be like, man, I wish I would have taken a little bit more Ozempic, a little bit more statin. You know what it would have been? I wish I would have spent that little bit of money that I had so I could have had an extra 5 or 10 years. And because a doctor tells you that you've got 5 years, you're telling yourself you got 5 years because you're saying I only got 5 years. It's like this. If we're in my room, so I'm in my room right now, and if I tell you I want you to count how many pieces of gray you see, and you'll be able to count how many pieces of gray you see. You know why? Because you focused only on the gray. Don't focus just on that. Focus on other things. When they say you're not going to get better, I'm going to get better. You know why? You're going to call Dr. Mo. You're going to go call the healing. You're going to call iowawellnesscenter.com. You can call him and he picks up. And how does that work? They call what how does that work? Let's say they live far away but they want to work with you.
We see these patients all the time. We can do Zoom calls. Testing wise, I can send you a kit and we can then test over Zoom. Obviously, someone that is here is going to get better. Like I can diagnose them a little bit better or find things a little bit better. Also, treatment wise, if they're here, the treatments are going to be a little bit more powerful compared to just at home, which we do have at home protocols all the time. So that is option. I mean, I get people that will come travel and they would stay, a couple weeks to a month and then go back. Or we'll have people that will go down to Florida, Arizona, and Texas like during the winter time. So 6 months out of the year they're out there, but they're still doing their treatments at home. So it is possible. Yes.
No, I love it. And I just want to let you guys know that I actually know Dr. Mo. It's not like, we've broken bed quite a few times. And I want to tell you, I've been to some of these seminars that he goes to, and I'm not even a doctor. These guys are focused on getting you guys healed up, focused on not believing the lie that we can't get you out of pain and living a normal life, at least close to normal. I remember when I first met Dr. Mo, man, he was just laser beamed. He was just like, I'd be like, how you doing? He's still in the conference, even though we're having lunch. I'm not joking. That's how focused this guy is. You guys want somebody that is focused on making sure that you get better so that you can have a better life and enjoy times with your grandkids. Your grandkids are worth it. They're worth every penny. Stop thinking about the money. Isn't it funny how we say we're broke, but that's not really true when we want to get those new car, some way somehow get the money. So guess what? There's an old saying. I love proverbs, old proverbs. Your heart is where your treasure is. Where's your treasure, my friends? You're worth it. I didn't hear no bell. That's all I got.
Yeah, I actually met you. It was when I was getting my board certification in functional nutrition.
Yeah,
That's when I
dude.
met you. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember that. I'm not joking. You were so focused, man. We'd be eating. You're not even staring at me. You're
yeah.
thinking about how you're going to help people. I'm not
And I was
joking.
like,
I could see it in you.
what are you doing here? Like, you're not a doctor. You're not, you're not getting it. He's like, well, I like the education, and he was actually a good friend of the presenter. So yeah, I mean,
But
we've known each other for a
you know
long
what? I
time.
learned from you guys, so it's like I'm learning and I'm taking from you. And it's funny. I have my own show too, and I have a lot of doctors that are doing neuropathy, so I'm learning enough to get in trouble. But but the beautiful thing is that if I know someone that's in Iowa area and they're struggling, I can say you need to go see Dr. Mo. Period. And there's a lot of people right now that are struggling. And before we land this plane on neuropathy, because we're still we're hitting this series strong. What would you say to somebody right now that is just totally given up? They just feel like they just can't go on anymore. And yeah, we'll take it from.
I would say that don't lose hope. Get that mind going again. Think of positive. Stop going with your negative thoughts. There is hope. Listen to some episodes, do some research. You know, there are, again, like I mentioned in episodes before, there are groups that you can go to that are neuropathy people that are suffering. It's kind of like AA, right? So there is hope out there. Again, you have to be the one that takes the action. So no one can do that for you. It's you. So don't lose hope.
I love it. And folks out there that are struggling with neuropathy, if you're listening to this and you don't, and you have a friend that has neuropathy, share the video. Because see, one video could change one person's life, and that's not a joke. You, you can save a life.
For sure. Yeah. So, over the last 10 episodes, we've discussed brain fog, driving, anxiety, travel, aging, balance, foot health. We've discussed families, symptom fluctuations, and the future of care. So, if there's one thing I hope you've learned, it's this: you are more than your diagnosis. So, if you've enjoyed this neuropathy series, go ahead, subscribe to the Healing Wellness Show. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Share these episodes with someone who needs the hope. Leave us a review so more people can find the show. And you can visit Iowa Wellness Center for additional health resources. Again, the next series, we're going to be talking about weight loss and metabolic series. So we'll uncover why diets fail, why weight comes back, hormones. We'll discuss GLP-1 medications because those are popular. Gut health, like I've mentioned multiple times. Inflammation, again, something I've mentioned many times, and how metabolism changes as we age. So you won't want to miss this. So if this episode helped you in any way, take the next 10 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button. Most people listening do forget, and you know that. People that are suffering from neuropathy, a lot of times they're forgetful. But by subscribing, you might be helping us reach more people who are struggling and searching for answers. And if someone you love is dealing with neuropathy, go ahead, share that episode, like Mark said, with them today. You never know whose life it might change. So thank you again for joining us on the Healing Wellness Show, sponsored by Iowa Wellness Center. We're honored to be a part of your health journey. And until next time, your body was designed to heal. Your health is worth fighting for, and the healing starts with hope. Thank you again. Thank you, Mark, and have a great day.
Thank you.